it's me, the Kadoozie, and here we are with another episode of the Kadoozie Kast. Woohoo! And I'm here with the one, the only funny motherfucker, Ian Edwards.
Hey, what's up, y'all? How you doing? What's up, Sue? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Now let's tell everybody we're in my bedroom.
Yeah. So we don't know what could happen after we talk for this hour. Maybe that's the part you should broadcast. What happens after?
Well, you're the only guy that I've let come in here so far. I felt like I could trust you.
Well, I'm about to destroy that trust. Sorry, other guys who were trustworthy.
All right, well, if I get lucky after this, it's just one of the benefits, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, man.
All right, so what's up? First of all, you kill me on the Twitter.
Oh, word?
So hilarious. Okay, the other night, I like to take girls out in L.A. to get them something to throw up. I mean, I'm sure people know it's funny, but do they understand the level of to do it in such a short, quick, hilarious way?
I don't know if they get it. I appreciate the people that retweet it or favorite it, or sometimes the people who favorite it frustrate me. At least they're acknowledging it. There's more people who don't, but you want to get the retweet.
Yes.
But it's just how our minds work, kind of twisted. Like you only a favorite, really? But there's more people that read it and didn't respond. Period. So fuck it.
Well, they're just taking it. They're just takers. They're just enjoying it. Well, first of all, yeah, I don't know what the favorites is. I always use the favorites for like articles that I wanted to read later. I guess I'm doing it wrong. Yeah, I don't know.
I guess you could do it like that. I favorite stuff if somebody sends me a compliment or tries to start a conversation. Like I only want to use my Twitter to put jokes out there,
right,
or to advertise my podcast or show. I barely even want to advertise shows because I want it to just be all jokes. So some people try to start conversations with you, so I'll just favorite something that they say, or if I just put something on my timeline, like a show or a podcast, and somebody says something funny right after it that I could retweet, but I just want people to focus on the thing that I just put up that I'm trying to promote, then you'll get a favorite. But if it was just a time when I'm just on Twitter, just doing nothing, and I see something funny, then I'll just retweet it if it's straight up funny. Oh, see, I got my own set of rules that I somehow made up. Yeah, you really
think about it. Like, I talk to everybody. I don't know if anybody sees anything I promote. Now I know it's wrong.
But I mean, I'm not saying my shit works. It works like that. My only thing is try to just do jokes, and then sometimes you're just not going to be able to. You have to put other shit up there.
No, and I love it. I'm not, for some reason, I'm like, I don't want to just do joke. I'm not really a joke person anyways. Right. I'm more of a personality, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
That's what I tell myself. But I do enjoy your jokes. And there was another one. I went to go try to find it last night. I couldn't find it. The one about, you hate when girls, I'm going to put you on the spot now, but you hate when, do you know what I'm talking about?
I hate when girls play hard to disappoint.
Did you hear that, people? I hate when girls play hard to disappoint.
Yeah, how am I going to hurt you? You don't give me a chance.
But it's so deep on so many levels. Like, instead of you hate when they play hard to get, it's like hard to disappoint. Like, there's a lot of girls that no matter what you do, they're like, it's okay. And you're like, no, I'm trying to give you the hint to, like, beat it. And you're like, no, it's okay.
It's hilarious.
So everybody, you got to follow him on Twitter.
I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks, Sue.
You're welcome. Is it just
It's IanEdwardsComic.com.
IanEdwardsComic.com on Twitter? No.
No, it's at Ian Edwards Comic. I don't even know my own Twitter.
Yeah, no. Come on.
I'm so professional, y'all.
You had a whole structure here, and now you just blew the structure. Yeah, that's a comic sabotage if I ever saw one. All right. So I always like to talk to people about, first of all, from the very beginning, from like the childhood, what kind of upbringing did you have? Because I don't really know a lot about your personal life. I just know that you're a funny motherfucker.
Well,
and I appreciate it.
And I appreciate you appreciating me.
Oh my God.
Because, we've been in the wars together. We've been at the clubs,
We've done shows. Didn't we do that TBS show together too? Remember?
We did the one at the Laugh Factory.
Yeah, that was the TBS one. They put all the makeup
did that
on.
air?
No.
We've done TV shows that didn't even air. hilarious.
They did our makeup. They did the whole shit.
Yeah, it was official.
Yeah.
Everything was official except the earring part. Yeah.
Okay, so then, so where were you born?
I was born in England.
You are?
Yeah. I was born in England, Shepherd's Bush. That's where I used to grow up. Went to Walmart Park Primary School.
That sounds
or
a little
elementary school.
sexual.
Is that what?
Shepherd's Bush.
Shepherd's Bush. Sounds what type of sexual?
A little sexual. A little 80s sexual.
Yeah, it could be. I can't. I won't argue with that.
Shepherd's Bush, where is that in?
It's in London. It sounds like it's in the country somewhere, but it's in London. It's like a pretty decent neighborhood right now in London. Yeah.
Is it near like Notting Hill? Is it near Knightsbridge?
I couldn't. It's been so long.
Really?
And when I go back, I only went back there like twice. But to tell you where exactly it is in London, I don't really know.
You don't?
And my London geography is screwed up.
My geography with everything is screwed up, so don't feel bad.
Yeah.
It's because we're geniuses.
Thank you. Yes, that's why.
We're in my room. We can say whatever we want.
It's hilarious. I was about to take that excuse out this room and use it for everything.
It happened in Sue's room. What are we going to do? All right, so you were born in London and you went to what school?
Went to that's just like regular elementary school, Walmart Park Walmart Park Elementary School. And then the only other school I get it mixed up with was right next to it was the high school I would be attending if I stayed in England, and that was called Christopher Wren. And my brother went there because he was older than me.
How many kids in the family?
There's 4 of us, 2 boys, 2 girls. I'm like the third one. So, yeah. So my brother first, older sister, then me, then my younger sister.
Oh, they lucked out. Boy, girl, boy, girl. And what about funny? Is everybody funny or?
My mother's funny. My father was more serious, but my mother's funny, so I think probably get it from my mother.
Me too. My mother's hilarious.
She's hilarious.
Hilarious.
It's hilarious.
And sometimes I'm like, Mom. She's like, I'm sorry. She can be a little sarcastic sometimes. She takes it, and I'm like, Mom. But she used to, when we were kids, me and my brother had to we couldn't cross the street. We lived on a big, busy street. We couldn't cross the street without getting her to cross us. So we would sit across and we would scream, Ma, Ma, and she'd be blow drying her hair, vacuuming, trying to keep us out longer. And Mrs. Federkowitz from up the street would come out and she'd be like, sons of bitches. She'd try to cross us, and then finally she'd come to the porch and we'd be like, what are we having for dinner? And she'd yell, steak, and it would echo through the whole neighborhood, like, steak, 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 and we'd be like, oh my God, we're having steak. We never had steak. We didn't have any steak.
She's just bullshitting.
Yes. So then we get up the top of the stairs and she'd have American chop suey on the table, which was like elbow macaroni, hamburger, and stewed tomatoes. And we'd be like, Mom, I thought you said we were having steak. She'd be like, that's what I wanted the neighbors to think.
Hilarious.
So yeah, I think I get my sense of humor from
all your neighbors are jealous and shit. They have a steak again?
Meanwhile, we all weighed like 4 pounds between us.
That's hilarious.
If they really paid attention, they would have been like, there's no steak going on in that house. Oh, I love steak now, by the way.
Right.
I would sell my soul. When I first got my TV show, I remember my manager. I sold my soul for a steak at Dan Tanner's. I did.
So the meeting for him to sign you was he took you for steak?
Nope. The meeting I got the movie Pushing 10. Remember that movie with they played the air traffic controllers? It was...
I don't remember anything.
Well, it was Billy Bob Thornton and John Cusack and Angelina Jolie and Cate Blanchett. It was huge movie stars.
Oh, no, don't remember.
And I got the movie, and they weren't going to let me do it because I was doing the pre-production for my TV show Costello.
Right, those bastards.
And so I said to him, what happens now? He said, nothing. They move on because you're not a name. And I believed him. And I cried really, really hard. And then he's like, come on, I'll take you for a steak to Dan Tanner's. And I completely forgot about it. And then that Monday, Mike Newell, the director, called him and was like, I need to have Sue Costello in my movie. I'm going to rearrange the whole schedule.
Oh, shit.
But then they still didn't let me do it.
Who didn't let you do it? The TV people? Those bastards.
I know, but I should have fought.
But that's dumb. It's like, that helps. You come off a movie and you're on a show, and then somebody will see you on the movie and watch the show.
Right.
And it's like, that's completely retarded as opposed to just being on a show, and I don't know what else you did before.
Right.
But, I just know the more credits helps.
And it was like Mike Newell, and it was huge movie stars, and it would have been...
Yeah.
Nope. But he bought me the steak, and it literally like blinded me. It was like it took all my spidey powers.
So now I know I can root for you with a steak. That's good.
It has to be a porterhouse nowadays.
Porterhouse, all right.
I'm catching on.
I feel you. Perfect.
So steak is a big.
It's a big deal.
Yeah,
all
in
right.
my life because it means you can be rich.
Yeah, it's funny like the way we grew up. Like certain things meant rich, and like foods like steak, and just like I don't know if it's how poor we were, but just like fast food now is no big deal. But fast food, like getting fast food in your house back then, was a big deal. Like having KFC one day, well, that's a major meal. That's some special shit. And
we used to get one cheeseburger, a small Coke, and a small fries at McDonald's.
And that was a big deal.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
huge deal.
Now it's like you drive by McDonald's, like, ugh.
It's not good for you.
Yeah.
But that could get into a whole another discussion about how they feed the poor people shitty food.
Yeah.
Make us sad though, but then maybe we wouldn't be as funny. Maybe the chemicals made us funny.
The chemicals. The poorness in the chemicals.
No, it's funny because if I say that I grew up poor, people get really mad, the people I grew up with, because I had a father and I had
First of all, growing up in a 2-parent home is overrated. Like I had 2 parents, but it's over. You can get away with less shit. Like, and if something you get past one parent, you can't get it past the other per parent. There's a committee to shut you down. You can just get away with, like, one parent. They're so tired,
right?
Like they don't have time to really deal with you. So
they're overcompensating. They're trying to be too nice, right?
Right, exactly. So everybody that's like, I didn't grow up with a parent. One parent was missing. Like, you're lucky. You got away with shit.
Or the same thing if you say, I didn't have good parents. It's like nobody had the greatest parents. Like, people are just people.
Yeah, they was just trying to make it themselves. Like, they had us.
They were just trying to get some steak.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they did have us too young. That's a huge thing that happened with our generation. I think people are like, what?
Like, somehow they got the mandate that getting married and having kids in your early 20s was the thing to do, and everybody did it.
Well, they called it the American dream.
Yeah.
Buying a car, getting a house, and having kids, and then next thing you know, they're all trapped.
Trapped, yeah.
With us rugrats running around.
Yeah, you can't get out of that shit. Yeah.
Then they're paying for that. Then we want steak. Mm-hmm. I'm like, goddamn kids.
But your mother was smart enough to just lie about the steak.
She was smart, I'm telling you. Even my boyfriend in high school, he disappeared on me. He was riding the bike. My friend Kevin gave him a bike, and he literally disappeared on me. He was like my first love. And I was crying. I'm like, I'm so sad. My mom's like, I can't believe you're jealous of a bike. And I remember thinking, it's not the bike, Mom. And then she hung over the porch one night I was going out, and she's like, Susan. And I go, what? She goes, if PJ calls, I'll tell him you went out with a balloon. So she was a bit of a ball, bless her, my mother.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, she's funny.
I think she gets the point of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She likes to have fun.
Yeah, not take things serious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially not like let some guy on a bike make me devastated. Yeah, you're right. That's what she was trying to say.
Yeah, and that's one of my things, not taking things too serious.
Yeah.
And I get upset with myself. That's the only time I get upset with myself is when I realize I got caught up in a moment when I took some shit too serious.
That's the only time. So then you get upset for being upset.
Oh, yeah, I get upset for being upset. Yeah.
And it becomes a spiral.
Yeah. Like a double negative spiral.
Well, because sometimes things hurt so badly, and sometimes it's not about what's going on in the present. Sometimes it does have to do with your past, like something that happened to you earlier on, and then it happens again, and you're like, you have to like hold on to yourself and not act like a freak show.
Yeah, you have to like catch your breath and say, why am I feeling this way? And then once you figure out the origin of this feeling, you can control it, as opposed to just letting it just lead you.
Well, they say there's a saying that says if it's hysterical, it's historical. I always I forget where I heard that, or if I heard Marianne Williamson or somebody said it one time, and I was like, oh, that's a very logical thing for me to latch on to.
It sounds good. I like it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if maybe you'll get a good joke.
Yeah, I never heard that before, but I like it.
Right? If you feel like totally out of control, it's like, all right, this can't be what's really going on right now because I'm a grown adult and I can take myself to KFC anytime I want.
Yeah, exactly. Now I don't even go there.
No. Isn't that funny? Because it could go the other way where you wanted it all the time because it was such a good memory for you. It's funny how we turn into like...
Well, I don't go. I don't go there because the argument that we just steered away from with how bad it is for us now, and that's why I don't go there. But I did, trust me, when I started living by myself and I could afford meals, fast food meals, and that's what I mean. Not
it was
steak.
like a luxury.
It was like, I used to eat it, and I was like, this don't even taste as good as I remember it tasting it when I was a kid. Ugh.
What about clothes growing up? Did you guys, like, was it clothes a big deal? Well, first of all, did you grow up in a all-black neighborhood, a black-white? People, if you didn't know, Ian's of the black persuasion.
Yeah.
They can tell by that voice you sound like Barry White.
Yeah. Who I used to watch when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think the neighborhood was mixed.
Oh, that's good.
Because there weren't that many growing up in Jamaica. I mean, growing up in England.
Oh, are you lying? Did I just bust you in a lie?
No, because we moved to Jamaica later on, but then that was all black. But growing up in England, I'm gonna say there's just so many more white people than black people back then.
In the world?
In the country of England.
Right.
So I think it was just a mixed neighborhood. Everybody, like, there was Indian people at my school.
Oh, that's cool.
We used to call them Pakis, like Pakistani people, which was a derogatory term.
Was it?
But it's like, there's a lot of things you said when you were a kid that you didn't know. You just said it because it was a thing to say, and then now you know, can't say that.
You used to say Jew bag.
Jew bag?
Horrible.
And did they used to take it and not take it as an insult?
Why, we didn't know any Jewish people.
Didn't?
No.
Oh.
Not until I met Jewish people did I realize you couldn't call them a Jew bag.
I hope that wasn't in a big meeting, or a big career meeting, big Hollywood meeting. What up, Jew bag? Yeah, she's never working in this town again. Now you're wondering why your career's not going the way you want it to. What's wrong with these people? Talented. It's hilarious. At least we used to call the Pakis to their face.
We didn't know any Jewish people. We only knew Irish Catholic people, literally.
That was the whole neighborhood?
That was the whole neighborhood because Boston was so segregated. We were very segregated growing up. The Irish Catholics were in South Boston and Dorchester and like Jamaica Plain, and then the Italians were in the North End. Jewish people were in Brookline. The black people were in Roxbury. It was all very, very crazily segregated.
And the black people were in Roxbury with a New Edition.
Yeah, New Edition, Bobby Brown.
Yeah.
We listened to them all the time, though.
That's hilarious.
No, I always say that.
They only came to your house musically.
No, there was a fine line between who we were and who they were. Now, I feel like sometimes that's why we had such friction, because somebody tried to be better than the other. We were so similar in terms of, even our cultures were very similar.
A lot of cultures are so similar, like blacks and Italians, and it's just like everybody's just trying to make their nationality better than the other. The only way to do that is to put down the other race or the other nationality, and that's all this shit is about. It's like to make yourself feel better, you put down another race or nationality, and that's again taking things too serious and not having as much fun as you could have.
Well, and also not being ignorant, because it was an ignorance to not meeting different people.
Right.
So there's a fear that would come along with that, where it should be nurtured as opposed to fed into. And there is something to be said about, it doesn't matter what color skin people are or whatever, if you're not around it, it does I always say that, even about, like, I joke about that on stage about when somebody comes out being gay in a family, like, and they don't get mad at me. I'm like, you can't just say it. People get freaked out, you know. They sometimes, if you're one way your whole life, it's the same thing as if you're going to be like a doctor.
Right.
You're going to be a doctor your whole life. Your whole family's doctors, and then all of a sudden you're like, listen, I want to go be.
That's a great analogy.
Right?
I like that. That's funny as shit.
I'm gonna go be a hippie or something. Then they're like, hold the phone.
I don't have a problem with you being gay. It's when you told me you were gay.
Right, but I'm saying
it's a 25 years mislead.
Yes. That's all I mean, is that there's so, and that with anything, and it's not just gay. It could be culturally. It could be you're only around Irish Catholic. You hang around black people. You have to be open and understand. Same thing with black people hanging around with the Irish Catholic. Whatever it is, you have to be open somewhat to humanity, to understand that people are different and not be filled with fear. Which
right, but to me, it all goes back. The essence of it is insecurity. You know, and insecurity leads you to want to put yourself in a position of power, which means you put down the other people, and insecurity comes from just taking everything too fucking serious.
And that's a false power anyway.
It's a false power. It's not a real power. So it's like, everybody just have fun, man.
They do like to have fun. I will say that, because I used to think I was weird. And now I realize I'm not so weird, and people do like to have fun. I was like, because everybody else is very shut down and I'm fun.
Right.
And so I would give in to their shutdownness. Like if I showed up and you were a little shut down, if I went to hug you and you didn't completely hug me back, I would not hug you.
Right.
As opposed to go, oh, he's just not used to being hugged so much.
Right.
And then I would stalk you. No. No, I mean in terms of, I used to shut down my silliness because of other people's...
Right, you like their, whatever they do affect how you are. And I've done that. I've done that before.
And a lot of it is projection in my head, too. That's what I always find fascinating, is I project whatever I think in my head. I pre-negotiate it to myself, and then I manifest it.
Right.
Like, I'm like, oh, Ian's not going to like me. And then I'm like, what's up, Ian? And you're like, that guy's a bitch.
Yeah, why'd you say what's up to me like that? Right.
In my head, over in the corner, I'm like, oh, he's not going to like me. So then I'm like, It's fascinating. Like
I've done that.
Right?
Yeah, I've done that.
Well, you like totally think that somebody doesn't even... It has nothing to do with...
That's why I'm amazed with people who smile.
Why?
Because I don't smile. But I'm happy inside. So there's times I'm walking down the street where strangers come up to me and say, are you okay?
Oh, really?
And I'm like, I'm probably way more okay than you asking me if I'm okay. I was having a good time in my head, but I don't even know what's going on in my face. But people who smile, like there's a guy in my building, he's an Asian guy. And for some reason, he's always smiling. So he changes me every time I see him. Mm-hmm. Like I remember to smile. You get this feeling of warmth. And I always sense or get the feeling that his life is happy. I was like, this is good. And then I analyze the effect of his smile on me and then think about doing that more because it can affect, like if I smile, it might affect people. Like yesterday I landed and my bag was destroyed. Delta destroyed my bag.
Aww.
And so then I asked the dude for the baggage argument place because that's what's supposed to go down. You take this bag in there and argue with these people. But I didn't go in there and argue with them. I was like, hey, look at this bag. It's kind of brand new. And voila, no handle. And I just checked it at the gate 3 hours ago in Detroit. And the ladies were so nice. And I didn't have to and one of them was handling a call where the guy attacked her. Mm-hmm. Because he thought he had to attack her to get what he wanted. But he didn't. She was nice and she was cooperating with him. And I could see her.
He couldn't hear it. But
he couldn't hear it because he was just so worried. His perception was, I got to fight for this thing, and I know they're probably not going to give it to me. But nah, they was cool. They were really cool.
Usually they do give it to you. Mm-hmm. People always say to me, like, Sue, how'd you get that? I'm like, I asked.
Like, you just showed me those shoes before. It's like, you got those shoes. It's like, those expensive shoes. Yeah. Somebody, quote unquote, important gave them to you. Mm-hmm. It's like we have so much power. We just don't know.
No, and it's also scary sometimes when I have a hard time with when people are really kind to me, knowing the difference between feeling worthy and not taking too much care,
right?
Not being pathetic. And I've learned, I've tried to learn a lot from different people. Who, somebody told me if somebody gives you a gift, it's gracious to take it.
Right.
I used to be like, oh no.
Yeah, I used to turn shit down.
And it's because I could tell you if I wanted to give you something, it would make me feel like $1 million, and I wouldn't think twice about it after I gave it to you, and it would just be my pleasure.
And it would hurt you more for me not to take it.
Because I'd think, that stinks. I wanted to give that to Ian.
Right.
And the other thing I was going to say, I was in therapy one time, and I remember sitting there and thinking, therapy helped me a lot. Mm-hmm. Even though there were lots of bad aspects to it too, but there were a lot of times where it really helped me. Where I forget what I was talking to her about, but I said something to her about how I was telling her, whether I was angry or whatever. Mm-hmm. And she said, well, I am a person. So if you remember that I'm a person and the way you say it to me will help me hear it more. And I remember thinking, right, that makes sense in life. Because you think of your therapist as just this person that's you're paying that you're supposed to take. I mean, I didn't consciously think that. Mm-hmm. But when she said that to me, I was like, and then it helped me start to realize, take a breath.
Right.
The person's a person. You're probably getting that whole idea you get more with sugar than...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because sometimes you desperately want things and you think the person you want it from is not going to give it to you. So you approach them in the toughest manner because you think you're going to get it that way. But usually it's the opposite way.
Which is a bully.
Yeah, it's bullying or just you need to know how much this means to me. It's a turnoff.
Yeah.
It's a turnoff. It's like... like you're already meeting the person. You just tell them and see what happens.
And sometimes people will take that moment where I'm being like nice and be a dick to me.
Right. I know, but that's on them.
So, yes.
Yeah, it's on them. It's like perception. It's like some chick. She's a comic. She went to Harvard. She made a movie. She's talented, and we were going over this idea for a film. I kind of needed her help, and then she didn't want to do it, and then she just railed on me. She was just really angry and spewed out all this venom. And then the next time she saw me, she was apologizing. But I was like, that was you. That shit didn't affect me. That was on you, shorty. Like I was cool. Like I was.
Was she railing on you because she didn't want to do it and she did it?
Nah, she was railing on me because she was making a point. She's also, I don't know, everybody's insecure. So if I say she was insecure at that moment about whatever we were talking about, I would say that. And like, I didn't yell back because I just really didn't feel what she was saying had anything to do with me. And I don't remember specifically what the situation was. I just remember it was one of the first times where somebody going off on me didn't affect me. And it was a moment of growth for me. Like, all right, so what?
That's like ninja stuff.
Yeah, because usually somebody goes off on me. I'm a comic. I can win. I can rip you apart. But knowing that you don't have to defend yourself because so what? That's, you know.
I found that on stage at some point. I was like, oh, I used to be able to do it like crazy. And then I was like, ugh, I'm not giving those people my energy. I was giving them all my energy all the time and coming across. And then people would meet me and they're like, oh, you're much nicer in person. I'm like, oh, hold the phone. Something's wrong here with whatever I'm doing. But to be able to not feed into what somebody else is doing, like they're disrespecting me, they're treating me poorly.
I feel less disrespected now. It's stupid. It's insecurity. Like feeling disrespect. You know how many people are dead in the hood because somebody felt that they were disrespected? It's stupid. Like somebody steps on your sneaker or is in your quote unquote space on a train. There is no space on a train.
Right.
You know, it's like, and it's, hey man, slide over there, son. You stepped on my shoe, or you know, like stepping on a black person's sneakers in the 80s was a leading cause of death of black people. It's the dumbest shit. And it's like, I
saw that. There's a movie called Just for Kicks on Netflix.
No, Netflix?
Yeah, you should watch it. It's all about the sneaker culture.
It's about sneaker culture.
They talked about how they were killing each other with the sneakers and everything. I mean, think about that. But that brings me back to the humanity that I was going back to. Like, people have lost humanity. People have just completely lost that people are human beings, and that you don't have to, just because you have compassion for a human being doesn't mean that they have to walk all over you. The world now somehow thinks that if they have compassion for somebody, it means let people walk all over you. I don't know when that happened.
Right. You can defend yourself without doing what they do, but you don't have to let somebody walk over you.
Right, and that's what you did with the girl, and then she was left with her own feelings, and then she apologized because you didn't even get involved.
Yeah, and I didn't even need an apology. I spoke to her as if the shit never happened every time I see her.
But see, that's what I find, that's when I get the most respect. I used to think I had to be, now I'm like, some guy told me, he's like, Sue, it's like you have an invisible force field around you. I'm like, because I do.
Right.
It's not baloney. I don't have to tell anybody. It's like, if you don't treat me right, I just walk away.
Right.
And then if you want to treat me right after I walk away, then I come back and I talk. Like, there's no... here's something I learned, like arguing with people. Like, people want to get the last word in, and they want to win the argument while you're arguing. I learned that you don't have to win an argument that day. Like people have argued with me, or I've argued with people, and then we just end it, and then days later, a year later, 2 years later, they'll be like, you know what, you were right. Or I'm like, you were right. Like, everybody in the moment of an argument is desperate to win it right then and there. But logically, sanely, you ain't going to win an argument at the time of the argument. This ain't like a boxing match where it's 12 rounds and we need a winner. This ain't a 100-meter race where we need a winner. This shit, just say what you got to say and not have that desperation to win it at that moment with this time limit you set on it. And the shit will be way more peaceful. And then let your words marinate, and they'll run into an example of what you said, or just painting, or walking down the street, or just
whatever they're doing, the shit that you said might hit them.
Right, because anytime you're talking to another human being, they're bringing to the situation all their past stuff too, so they're not always hearing everything that you're saying in the moment.
Not capable, right?
Or just even in the moment.
So
because
for us to expect that is retarded.
In our own childishness. And also, sometimes if somebody needs the last word in an argument, now I'm like, okay.
If somebody needs what?
The last word in an argument. That's what I give them.
Yeah.
The last word.
Yeah, you can have it. Like, if you think that's how you won the argument, go ahead.
I kind of have compassion for them.
Yeah, I have more compassion to. It's like, there's a reason why this person is arguing with me.
They need it.
Yeah.
Something inside of them. Somebody didn't hear them someday. And that doesn't mean that they can hurt me or talk to me in a bad way. It just means that if they need to get the last word, I can have that much compassion. I always say nowadays, if it's 50-50, I'll give you 51.
That's cool.
You know, it's not 90. I used to give you 95 or 105, you know. But now I'm like, I will budge more.
Right.
I will. Enough that there's some compassion, but also not so much that I take care of you, because that's not healthy either.
Right.
And also what I'm realizing, which is really crazy, is that sometimes it's just in the expression of the emotion. It doesn't matter the result.
Right.
That blows my mind. Like, I literally told this guy, it took everything in me. Every guy I knew was like, Sue, you have to tell the guy you're crazy about him. You have to tell him you're crazy about him. I had so much terror and fear of just saying that. I was like, I can't. I was like, I would get mad. I was like, I'm not saying it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And they were like, Sue, you just have, and all the guys, they were good guys who were telling me, and they, you know, guys will tell you, like, don't be a freak show, don't say it. They were all saying, just say it, Sue, you get nothing to lose.
Right.
I said it. I got nothing back. And I don't care.
But that's real love, though. Like I had an argument with a debate with this girl I was dating at the time about what love is. I said, love is like you love somebody, you don't expect anything back. And she's like, no, you should get something back. You expect, yeah, you do, but you shouldn't. So we went through that, and then she texted me like later on and said, you were right about that. But it was a stubborn argument we had that night. Well,
because we're socialized to think that it's tit for tat and everything, and it brings you back to
and sometimes you're human, so sometimes you slip on me, you get competitive too, you know. But it wasn't. It was competitive, but it wasn't like an argument. Like there's a way I argue with people now that it doesn't get. The only way I argue hard is on my podcast, just for entertainment value.
Right.
Like, I realize the value of that. But it's like person to person, I try not to go that hard, especially if you like the person and you're laying in bed next to the person.
Yeah, you want them to stay in the bed.
Yeah, you want to stay in the bed. You know what I'm saying? Why am I bashing their brains up?
I'm cock blocking myself right now.
Exactly. And I hate cock blockers. So.
Yeah, and also arguing does a number on your body. It makes you feel like, ugh. And also the other thing I was going to say is, okay, so I decided for me in my life that it was a good time for me to tell this person that I was crazy about them. That doesn't mean that person has to be in the place in their life to receive it either. Like,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It feels so crazily mature and awesome and really, truly like a loving person, as opposed to pretending that you are.
Right, exactly. There you go.
I didn't have to be, I'm not embarrassed. I was also so proud. I was like, I'm so courageous, because that was the scariest thing for me to do, because I was mad. And those guys were telling me to do it. And that which brings me back to the point that the fact that I expressed myself lifted the weight.
Right.
I'm not embarrassed. I'm not shy. It actually makes me feel better about myself as a person. It doesn't make me, people think it'll make you feel less than.
Right.
It makes you feel better, because you're like, I was going to say, Maureen, she's a comic. I can't remember her last name, but she told me this story one time. You know, sometimes you hear about a person, you're like, that's the person I want to be. Right. You don't know what kind of torturous, emotional pain you have to go through to get to be that person when you make the decision. But she told me she'd been going out with this guy forever, and he kept asking her to marry him. She's like, no, I don't want to get married. And I think she turned 40. And she was like, uh-oh.
That's hilarious.
I want to get married now. So she was motivated by the 40 as opposed to necessarily the marriage, right? They get married. The night of the wedding, she's literally hyperventilating, pulling the ring, like having a panic attack, pulling the ring off her hand, like, I can't do it. This ring is suffocating me. And he said, you know what he said to her? Put the ring in your pocket. And when she told me that, it was like the skies opened up for me, and I was like, he didn't make it be about him. He didn't say, oh, after all this time I waited and now you're going to do this on our wedding night. Mm-hmm. It was her issue. She had the panic about the wedding. He didn't.
Right.
And I feel like that about me. Like, I'm not nervous to tell people, or as much as I am nervous, I can walk through it.
Right. I like usually when I have a dating style, like when
I want to hear that.
When I ask a girl out, it's always like you're kind of friends with the person first.
Is that how you do it?
Yeah, it's like in LA, people just hang out. Let's hang out.
So if me and you were in LA, if we didn't know each other, or we did know each other.
No. If we didn't know each other, if we just met, just hung out, it's not like instantly like nobody likes to go on dates. Like if you tell somebody let's go on a date, it's almost like a turn off. It's a let's hang out. So then there's this place where you get caught between hanging out and having a good time, and then not wanting to ruin the good time by telling the person this is a date.
Right.
So sometimes you just keep on ending up hanging out until something breaks. But I like to get rid of the anxiety of transitioning from we're having a good time hanging out to I want this to graduate to sex or just something more by like I'll just let a girl know. I feel more at ease letting the girl know that I like you more than just being a friend. And then whatever you want to do with that after, it's cool. But now I don't feel the pressure to have to prove or show you anything. Like I'm relaxed now, and then just having fun with no pressure is going to attract the person to me anyway.
So even if they don't respond right away, it's still okay? Yeah,
because if they're cool people, and then, I'm single, so you could just...
Ready to mingle.
You could just date until they're ready.
Right.
You know what I mean? You date other people till they're ready. Or just, I got shit to do.
But I think that's a guy thing, too. Guys are way better at that. Right, girls were like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? What did that mean? What did that mean? What did that mean? We're socialized like that.
But girls are funny. Like, they ask everybody except the person what that means.
And usually, what I learned? Mm-hmm. It means exactly what he said it means.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. Don't try to figure it out with a bunch of friends that never met the guy before. How about you ask the dude?
Well, that's almost a way of not really being intimate with somebody, too. It's like, you don't really like the person. If you're going to talk to all your friends about it, it's like you're not really having the experience. Because just show up. I've done that. I mean, I've gotten much better at that with, like, if I feel like some guys go out with me because they think I'm famous, which they're stupid for that.
That's the only reason why I'm here. Wait a minute.
And I'm like, and I smoke them out. And I'm like, save it. I do. I smoke them out quick, too. Because I'm like, save it. It's not for me. And it fascinates me that a guy would ever do that with me. Because I feel like I come across as one of the most real people. Like, a guy would never fall for any of that stuff. So I'm like, why would you ever even try to do that? I'll smoke you out in 5 seconds.
That's hilarious.
But girls and guys.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
So different. Guys, I've always been envy. Maybe I have a little penis envy. I think I do.
Well, all I can say is I'm glad I'm a guy.
Yeah, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Because I always felt like watching them, they get to go play basketball together and they just... But then again, people say that
chicks in the WNBA play.
Well, growing up, the girls didn't always play. Even, yes, the NBA, but how hard did they have to fight to get the NBA and everything? It wasn't as natural as, yes. They had to fight to get to that, though.
I mean, I'm just joking about it.
I know. And I'm thinking, like, did I say something about women there? No.
No, you didn't. I just brought that shit up.
This is not your podcast. No, I'm saying that's what I've always had that, and I always felt like guys don't have as many feelings, so they look like they get away with it more. It doesn't stress them out as much. But you guys have your own bag of baloney, right? Oh, excuse that.
No.
You didn't even hear what I said. I said bag of baloney.
It's hilarious. I was just trying to...
It's so crazy. I don't know how I'm thinking.
It's hilarious.
They really should get...
This is a ball of energy. Like, I don't think you're ever going to age.
I know people always ask me, how old I am. They yell it on stage. They yell, how old are you? And
That's
I'm like,
hilarious.
that's so inappropriate. I'm like, you're not supposed to ask, especially a woman, how old she is. And I'm like, why? Nope, they don't do that to any other comic. They yell out, how old are you?
It's trying to figure it out. Like this, who's this kid on stage that is too mature to be a kid? What's going on?
That's exactly it. It's too mature to be.
It's like your age is bigger tits than your tits. Like it's not like how big are your tits. They're not staring at your tits. They're staring at how old. They figured out how old you are. You know.
Yeah, they can't figure it out. They don't think that I look old enough to be as like if I say I've been doing stand up for a long time. They're like, what? What? I remember doing Comics Unleashed, and the guys came in my dressing room. They were rappers or something. I don't know, but they were all like. Chains and cool, and they were like, "Yo, what are you, rich?" They kept asking me if I was rich, and I was like,
"You should ask them if they rich. They got the chains on." Shit.
But I thought that was such a weird question to ask me. I was like, "Why do they think I'm rich?" I think it was my energy they were trying to articulate. Like, what is it that makes you be silly or comfortable or have fun? Like, do you have? Maybe they equated that with like financial security.
Right. You know what's funny? Like, I got this friend in LA when I first moved out there. He's from New York. He's a rapper. So then he wasn't rapping anymore, but he knew a bunch of rappers. Like he knows, like he'll know Diddy and he'll know somebody new coming out. You know, he just stayed in that world. And one time, a bunch of rappers from Brooklyn came out, and we went to Venice. Everybody goes to Venice. It's the beach. There's chicks there, and we're just walking around. And it was getting late, and the sun started setting. And one of them was like, and it was like 20-something years old. And I was like, damn, I've never seen the sun set before. And that's the type of life people are living, like to be 20-something years old and never seen a sunset. And that shit struck me. I said, oh shit.
People in the house worrying, trying to
it's just
make it without enjoying nature or
you just miss shit. Like I guess you can see the sunset from Brooklyn, but not really.
No.
You know, not really. And that's just their lives. And like that, it's the same type of dudes in your dressing room trying to figure out like your energy. It's like you must be rich, never seen the sunset before, just shit.
I've always been like this though. Right. I think that's why I know that's why I got all the TV deals. Like, because literally I'd be like, hey. How you doing? And they're like, why is she talking to me like this?
Well, they're buying you. Yeah. Like here's like I'm like more mental, more cerebral, and I'm just using those terms because those are the terms that people use. So like I'm trying to sell you a great idea. You know, I'm trying to sell you a great idea, but I completely ignore the fact that people have to like you to buy your good idea. Like all I have is a good idea. So that's all I focus on. Like how do I don't use me enough. You know what I mean? I don't use me enough. So now, just evolving as a person, I'll do that more. But you know, like that's how, like you said, that's how you get the TV deals. You go in there, you're open, and people like people who are more open than them. You know,
well, it's funny because this girl said to me, this woman, one of the producers from one of the pilots said to me. She said, Sue, Les Moonves, the head of CBS, just loved me. And she said, Sue, he always loved you because you always were just so natural and you didn't put any of the sex stuff on the table. You never played any of that card. You always just completely hilariously playful and just in the moment. And I'm like, I was, but I was too young in terms of handling the business aspect back then. Right. Now I feel even more fun because I can handle
the business aspect
so much more. I can take care of myself so much more where I don't take any. If I was going to get that movie with Mike Newell now, guess where I would be?
I'd be on the set.
I would be on that set getting that movie.
And you'd be doing both the movie and set.
And there would be no fight.
Right.
There would be no issue. It would just happen. Because I feel like you have to like really feel it inside to be able to feel worthy.
Right.
You can't say it. You can't puff up. You can't write letters. You can't get attorneys. You can't do anything on the outside. Which brings me back to the idea that the guy didn't see the sunset. Part of my ability to do that has been not so focused on, I don't give a fuck. Right. I don't care about that stupid Hollywood balloon. I don't care. And now I'm like, this guy, I'm telling you, they see it in me too. They're like, you're dangerous, Costello. I'm like, yeah, tell your friends. Tell your friends because I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
And
I care, but I don't care. Like I think when you go to meetings and shit, they want to see something, and I never really show it. Mm-hmm. Show like the willingness to go along with everything. Like they don't, which I think will make them more comfortable.
Okay, I'm going to be the famous Kadoozie right now. This is what I do when I sit and I talk to somebody. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you started off by talking about walking down the street and how your face doesn't always say what's in your brain.
Right.
And you're actually telling me now that translates into your work when you're in the room, that it's almost like it's hard for you to... You're a guy, too, so to express that is... But you're... I'm
more open now.
Yes, and how tough was your neighborhood growing up? Or was there any aspect to any of that? Because I know for me... We had to build up our front so that we didn't let anybody see us be weak.
Well, I think walking around New York, like, let me knock on, like I've never been robbed in New York. And I spent, like, a lot of time in New York, just in the city and shit. And just, so when we moved to New York, lived in Long Island, and we heard how dangerous the city was. My mother used to work in the city. I used to worry about her. So my thing was never to get got. So just being around the city was always have my game face on, so it never leaves. It's not what I'm thinking inside. It's just you put that mask on, because the city used to be way more dangerous than it is now. So when the city got less dangerous, I never took the mask off. I just kept that shit on. So everybody would see my city face, you know, everywhere I go. And even the way I used to perform at first, if you see me perform. Like when you first saw me, it was just like tough, a lot of energy. It was like get them before they get you, and it was a war.
And you did
all
well.
The wrong terminology, and it worked.
Right.
So it's like, but then I would see people not do that, and it worked, and I wanted to be that, and I realized this is wrong. This is just a defense mode type shit. So the reason why I like comedy, because it's not your act evolves, but you evolve also as a person, you know, and that's the beauty of comedy. Like to me, I don't really have a lot of problems. I don't make a lot of things problems, but there are problems that I have that I didn't know I have. It just, you realize it when you grow. You're like, oh shit, that was a problem. Like now I don't do that no more. Now I don't act tough. You know, like I know inside that I'm tough when I need to be tough. I don't have to walk around tough and prove that shit to everybody on a second to second basis.
Which is why it's easier to be vulnerable, because you protect yourself, which brings us back to the same thing as the expression, and that's what I mean by I don't give a fuck. It's not that I give a fuck.
No, and it's not a knock on you. It's just like there's just always. It's like the way we argue. We argue with people different, and now I present myself to people. I give more. You know what I mean? Like you can't just take. And you can't just be guarded, because nobody's going to trust you. Like, what are you guarded for?
And you're lonely.
And you're going to be lonely. Plus, I trust that. It's like, this is the way I deal with people on stage. Like, I used to worry about having enough heckle jokes to defend myself. My worry was, my material's cool, but suppose somebody starts heckling me. Well, how am I going to defend myself? So I'd have to come up with a bunch of ideas or jokes, I like have them on a piece of paper or just somewhere so I could defend myself. And
in defense of heckling, unless you know what you're really doing, it's terrifying.
Right, it's terrifying. but it's hilarious. But now I have enough confidence to not need a bunch of heckling jokes. I just like, somebody heckles me, I trust myself to come up with something in the moment that'll defeat that person. So if I'm in a meeting and I'm vulnerable, I trust myself. If they say something, I'll react to it. And it's just me evolving on stage, me evolving as a person, and just learning how to live life.
I always say that about stand-up, about how you learn how not to like attack. I mean, I think it was Keith Robinson. It was The Black Show. The Late Show. It wasn't called The Black Show, but it was The Black Show.
Right, yeah.
The Late Show at the comic strip. Packed. I get on stage. He's hosting. I get on stage. I don't even stop for like 1-2 minutes. I don't think I'm in. And all of a sudden, you know, woo. And I go, what's that? And they go, that means get the fuck off the stage. And I literally paused and I went, all right. I just have to do 2 more jokes and then I'll go.
That's hilarious.
Oh my God, Keith was on the floor crying, laughing. He's like, Sue, you're the craziest person. He's like, that was the funniest thing I've
That's hilarious.
He's like, that audience didn't even know what to do. You like negotiated with them and they were like, all right.
That's hilarious. And that's another thing about controlling the situation. I talked to this hypnotist, and he's telling me one of the things you do when you're hypnotizing people is cause confusion. You say something that doesn't make sense, and so if you're in a fight,
yep,
you say something confusing, they'll stop to try to figure it out, but they'll stop arguing with you.
Or you
they
smile.
don't know what the fuck that just happened.
Or you smile and they're like, why are you smiling?
Yeah, you throw them off.
Yeah.
You know, like somebody was telling me like about a Bob and a Mr. Show sketch. One guy, 2 guys are arguing. I'm tougher than you. Yeah, you're tougher than me? Well, I'll marry you. And then they just cut to the altar. Like they're just going back, like they just one up in each other. It's like, you just say shit.
But I don't think people understand the level of like how much stand-up is a craft and how much it like that, how it mimics you as a person. Because I was just at the Laugh Factory in LA last week, and there was a girl in the front, and she was drunk. She kept talking, and I said, "Oh, I know." I said something like, "Oh, she's driving everybody crazy," and they laughed because I acknowledged it. I go, "I'm a professional. I've been doing this for years. I can feel this in my cells."
Right.
As soon as I walk up there. But I did something. She talked, and I did something with my face. And afterwards, it was a girl who was with my friends. It was a casting director. She's like, "Sue, I grew up in Hollywood." She's like, "You are so funny on such a deep level because of your face." But she got it. She said, that face that you gave the girl. And I wasn't even aware of it. I just made a face to the girl and then went back. And after she said that to me, as a person, I was like, oh, she's saying I was even kind to the girl. I didn't attack.
Yeah, I am kinder to hecklers.
Right.
Like,
sometimes they don't mean it. Sometimes
they don't mean it.
Stupid.
Yeah, and I don't take it as personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, I used to take it personal. I used to tear their hearts out. But I'm still going to be funny. But I'm not going to take the shit as personal. But I'm aware that we still have to be funny. And so I'm going to entertain the crowd. And that person, like before, I didn't care if the heckler hated me. And I really don't now, but I know that you don't really mean what you're doing.
Which brings us back to what I said about my therapist saying, because I'm a person, it will be easier for me to hear it so I can help you more if you don't yell at me. It's the same idea as what you're talking about. Like, I know for myself, like, I would do what you did on stage, like attack somebody and kill.
Right.
And then be like, why doesn't the industry like me? Why aren't I getting anything? It's like, because you might be killing, but you're being... People are afraid of you.
People are afraid of you, yeah.
You know, and so it's like, how would that translate to... all of America.
Yeah, I'm walking into a room to sell myself to get a show for people to invest millions of dollars, and I got my New York face on. I don't want to get robbed, but they feel like they're about to get robbed.
No, and it's funny because that whole fear, the aggression, and being a woman, I will say it. I am really just starting to realize the level of aggression that I mean, I was in the. I was at the Laugh Factory LA, and Ari Spears, literally, he walks around with that, like,
yeah, he does.
And he said something to me. What time are you going on or something? And I felt my whole body, and I just looked him right in the eye. I go, what's up, Aries? And he literally, the corner of his mouth turned up, and he smiled. And then I saw him in Long Beach. He's like, what's up, Sue? And I was like, what's up? And I was like, I used to just be completely he's not doing that for me. I don't know what he's doing.
He doesn't know he's terrifying people and shit.
When he has his podcast, he's gonna be like, Sue, let me come on your podcast. I didn't mean to terrify you. But isn't that interesting, all that stuff that goes on, which I'm sure regular human beings happen in their offices, happen everywhere they go, every day, and nobody wants to be the person who's yelling and being mad all the time. Right. I've never met anybody that says, I'm enjoying being lonely and miserable and angry and I have to be alive for the next 50 years. I've never met anybody who said that to me.
Yeah, they're drinking water and eating good to milk the length of this misery.
The misery, right. I always think that. I'm like, people want to live forever, but they're miserable. Like, what's up with that? No, people just have no idea, which brings us back to the humanity. Nobody talks about it. Nobody takes the time, which brings... like the idea of humanity. We're not just humans. We're so we're very simple, but we're so complicated. Like I was thinking yesterday how if you isolate a human being, they go crazy. Right. Like we'll go crazy. Even if you're healthy, if you isolated me and I didn't have people around me, like that's how intricate we are. Like our psychology.
That's why social networking blew up.
Yeah.
Because people need to communicate. You need to talk to people. If you don't see them right in front of you, you want to see their words.
Right, and then people argue like, "Oh, it's making us more isolated." It's like, well, it's
just human nature,
right? And you can just be kinder to people when you see them. And like I said, I keep saying this: if people weren't hungry for it, they would think I was a weirdo. Because my whole one-woman show is about being more human and being more open and being more loving.
Right.
And they would be like, nobody would come to the show. Right. They'd be like, "Okay, fruitcake, do that by yourself."
It's hilarious. My stand-up is like that in an indirect way.
What?
About being human, or like I'll step on your nerves, but I'm making a point, and it's contrary to what you think. Mm-hmm. But that's the problem with the world. Like we're kind of going in the wrong direction. So I'm gonna let at least one or two people change their minds out of the 50 or whatever number of people's in the crowd about maybe just an issue. Mm-hmm. When we're in there.
No, and they do, and I can see even with the stand-up, like my stand-up is goofy and silly and
that's fun.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
The more I do it, the more like I can't believe how much when we started out this podcast, we were talking about how you project. Mm-hmm. I used to think they don't want me to be fun. They just don't show off. Don't do this. And then somebody told me, I think it was Jackie Cation. She said something about Fiona Apple, or somebody said that people pay money to go see somebody believe in themselves on stage. And I'm like, yeah. I'm saying to myself, don't show off, and I'm on stage.
Right. It's hilarious.
So you get half and nothing. When they say put one foot in yesterday, one foot in tomorrow, you're pissing all over today. That's what I was doing with my whole career.
That's hilarious, damn.
And I was afraid, like, what if I'm goofy and somebody hurts my feelings? They hurt my feelings. And then the more they hurt my feelings, the less my feelings get hurt too. I'm like, whatever. And that's what I mean by I don't give a fuck. It's like, not that I don't give a fuck. I don't care about I care about being able to express myself. Right. That's it. Right. If they buy it, if they don't buy it. But the funny part about it is that that's what they're all attracted to. Mm-hmm. Is that sense of, that's what they look for in an artist. That's what everybody looks for in an artist, is that sense of having a clear vision of who you are and what you want to say.
Right. Yeah.
Which is why I think they like stand-up, which is why I think people, I mean, the fans of stand-up are like hardcore. Right. They're just starting to get, I mean, literally, people are like, I've never heard of you. I'm like, I'm the most famous person that no one's ever heard of.
It's hilarious.
Well, because my stand-up is so different.
Mm-hmm. I haven't even seen you in a minute, but I like what you just said about, because it's something I just realized too. Like I read Steve Martin's book,
so I have it upstairs,
and it sounds like you guys, like the style is similar. And I like Steve Martin movies. I love the book, but I probably when I'm reading the book, probably wouldn't have been a fan of his stand-up. Mm-hmm. But his point was everybody was being so political at the time. He just wanted to have fun. Mm-hmm. But
King Tut and all that was hilarious. Do you remember that?
I don't remember it as much. Like I gotta go see it, and that's the thing. Like I
don't know about his stand up, but on Saturday Night Live he was silly.
Yeah, like he's a great comedic actor, but I only got into him after he was famous, and I was too young to have his albums and all that shit. But reading the book never inspired me to go look at his stand up, which I kind of should. But I liked his life. Mm-hmm. The trajectory of it. Mm-hmm. He went through the same comedic pains that I can relate to them as a comic, and the way you're describing yourself on stage sounds like him, and it made me. And then the last thing you said about people are into when the comic has a voice and knows who they are, and that's I know who I am now. Mm-hmm. And I know I'm going to rub some people the wrong way. So then, instead of taking it personal when I do, because they don't get it, just let it go. Like, that's my thing,
Well, right. Make a choice. Be like, I'm doing this provocative thing. Like, I find people be provocative, and then they're like, why doesn't everybody like me? It's like, because you're being provocative.
Yeah, exactly. You say some polarizing shit. Right. Let's accept it.
Right. And just enjoy that you're expressing yourself. And you're saying, I'm Laugh Factory LA, walked off stage one Saturday night. Finesse Mitchell was in the back. He's like, Sue, that was fucking hot. And I was like, yes! Something about, I don't know, I've always loved black guy comedians. It's just, I don't know if it's, people have told me that I have the same cadence on stage. I don't, because I grew up in the inner city. I don't know what it is, but so when he said that, I was like,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, Vanessa. Yeah, tell Aries. Tell Aries to stop scaring me.
I think Aries might scare Finesse. Finesse might ask you to tell Aries to stop scaring him.
See, people don't know that we go through all this stuff on the side.
Yeah.
But it is a huge compliment.
I think humans just go through that shit too. But at least we have a way. We got the podcast. I can talk to you about this. You can talk to me about it, and people might identify with that shit.
But I got in my own way a lot too. I don't want to say that it was other people. Like TJ Miller, I just did a podcast with him in LA.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Sue, I gotta tell you, I saw you at the comic strip. You fucking killed like nobody I've ever seen kill. And I was like, I did. I'm like, and TJ Miller's saying that to me, who I find hilarious. And I'm like, really? And I'm like, I think I've been getting in my own way. I don't know what I've been doing, but
we got our self doubts, our insecurities and shit, and we just, we're like, I got to get better. I'll accept not making it because I got to get better. But no, we're good enough.
Right.
We passed good enough.
Yeah.
There's people with less talent taking shit, so
people with less talent who don't have as much self doubt. I think sometimes though the talented people have more self doubt.
Sometimes, yeah.
Right? The people who don't have talent are like, whatever. If I get anything, it'll be good.
They'll take that shit and milk it.
People with the talent want it to come across pure talent.
And authentic. And we just get too caught up in the seriousness of this and we're not having as much taking shit too serious. Like, taking our talent too serious.
Yes.
Let's just have some fucking fun.
Well, it should be respected. Mm-hmm. You should value yourself and value your talent. But also, that I feel like it borders on perfectionism. Where how are you going to be an artist when and that's what I was telling you on the way here when we were talking about my show, and you said, are you putting it up now? Have you been putting it? I remember when I was told I had to put it up when it wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. I thought I was going to die.
Right, yeah.
I was like, how can I do that? How can I put it up when it's not ready? I can't put it up. And then, because the thought of like, what if people like it, and then I'm supposed to change it, and then what if somebody wants to change it, or what if they don't like it, and I'm too susceptible, and I listen to what they tell me, and how am I going to write? I was so scared of all, like, the outside influences that might happen, but I had to do it. There was no other way you can't write something and think it's perfect.
Perfect, you gotta put it out there, and then make the adjustments.
And keep going with it. That's what I'm fascinated with. I can't believe this show has mimicked my person in terms of like finding something that my one woman show. Mm-hmm. Just I love it. I love growing it. I love the personal growth that comes along with it. Walking through the fears of putting it up. Walking through the fears of nobody coming. Walking through the fears of coming home from LA after working on it and thinking, and my stomach dropping and going, now what?
Right.
Now what am I supposed to do? I don't have any agent or manager like I told you. Mm-hmm. And I just sit in my bed and I go, now what? And then all of a sudden, a half hour later, I'm emailing somebody, I'm calling somebody, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm like, oh my God, there's been so many times where I thought, I can't do it for another second.
Right.
And then not only do I not do it for another second, I get shit done. I just keep going.
Yeah, you just got to keep going. We talk ourselves out of a lot of shit.
Well, they say you quit most people quit, I think Tony Robbins said 5 miles before the finish line. Mm. And you can feel that though, because the pressure after doing it a while, like in the beginning you have to fight, you're like, yeah, I'll do it, and then all of a sudden, when it doesn't happen in the timeline that you think it's going to happen in your head,
right?
That extra push, which I would imagine if you were running a marathon and you thought you were going to run it in 3 hours and you're at your 4th hour,
you would feel disappointed and inclined to give up, but just finish the shit.
Finish the shit. What? And then feel like, man, I think it would be more, and as you say it that way, I'm like, I think I'd be more proud of myself if I was at the 4th hour. If I just did...
It's not your last marathon. You're going to get a chance to run another one. There's plenty of 26 miles.
And if I thought that I set out, I'm going to run 3 hours, and then I ran 3 hours, I don't know how rewarding that would be.
Right.
If I say I'm going to run 3 hours, and then I'm at the 4th hour, and I'm like, I'm not going to make it, and then I make it, I feel like that would probably be more rewarding to me, even though emotionally it might be more discomfort, but I'd rather be somebody who pushes through.
Right. Yeah, I got to finish shit too, so. There's
been so many times where I'm like, forget it, what am I, out of my mind?
Right.
I'm literally like, am I out of my fucking mind? What am I doing? This has been 10 years, 12 years, I'm crazy. And believe me, we're not at the end yet, I could be crazy.
Yeah, it could be. There's always hope.
And that's what I think we should end it on. I think we should just say there's always hope. And... that was an awesome conversation, man. I didn't expect us to...
it went in a direction, but we just went with it.
But that's what I like. I like having a conversation with somebody and just shooting the shit, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that's what we were talking about not seeing the sunset.
Yeah, exactly. I think we saw the sunset in this conversation.
I think we did too, but now I'm a little nervous to end it because I'm afraid what's going to happen because we're in my bedroom.
Your bedroom and it's dark in here.
Ian Edwards at Ian Edwards comic. Watch him. And what do you? Oh, we should talk about Patrice's thing.
Yeah.
Is that going to air somewhere?
I don't think it's going to air.
Oh, it's just live tomorrow night?
It's just live tomorrow night.
He's going to go help raise some money for Patrice O'Neill tomorrow night. He is the man. That's what he's doing in New York City. Ian Edwards comic. Keep an eye out for him. If he has his angry New York City face on, give him a big smile.
Yeah.
All right, out.